All the festival lineups in Europe and the UK are starting to come out, so we thought we'd go over some of the best or the biggest festivals and what names they have pulled.
First up, we're going with Primavera, and we have got a stonking lineup here.
There is some huge names. I'm going to reel off the headliners to start off with. Two artists that have blown up massively this year in Chapel Roan and Charlie XCX. Both were, or at least Charlie was relatively big before, but they are very on the money pulls for right now.
Another name that's in that realm is Sabrina Carpenter. So for them to get all three of those acts at one festival, that is big.
But for me, that wouldn't be the ideal lineup. The difference is with Primavera, when you go in a little bit deeper, you read some of the other names. We've got the likes of Denzel Curry, Turnstile, High Viz, a lot of good rock acts and rap acts that are kind of hidden in the lineup. By the way, the formatting of this poster is atrocious.
Yeah, the layout is pretty crap, but I like what they're going with, going A to Z. They're not putting anybody else over anybody else. Some other acts that are there that seem phenomenal would be Wet Leg, pretty big get. And I also saw that Idols are there, which is pretty sweet.
And Fontaine's DC. So there's a fair few up-and-coming indie rock bands there. Primavera is meant to be really good for the vibes. It's in Barcelona, you know, nice weather. It'd been cool to go to. I don't know if it's one that I would spend the money to go to, though. I saw that tickets start at about €350, which is a hell of a lot.
Yeah, for me, there's not enough acts there that I'd want to see to justify that, because also we'd have to travel as well. But LCD Sound System are there. I'm a big fan of them. That's a bit of a different act to get, a bit different genre.
I can see why people are tempted, but should we move on to a festival that's closer to home in Kendal Calling?
Kendal Calling is celebrating their 20th anniversary this year, and when they released the lineup this morning, I was blown away. It's fucking phenomenal.
I thought it could be good given the celebration, and to be fair, it really is. Having acts like The Prodigy and Fatboy Slim headlining is wild. The Prodigy put on a rave-like performance every single time at Kendal in a field that'll be special.
To me, I can't really comprehend it happening at Kendal because it tends to be more of an indie festival, but this year they seem to have gone all out. We've got other acts there like Kaiser Chiefs, we've got the Wombats, Cortina's headlining on the Friday night, but then we've got more alternative stuff, which is pretty nice to see. We've got like Skindred, we've got Alvana, which is the Elvis-fronted Nirvana tribute band, which... what a get.
That's what I really like about this lineup, though. The variation in acts means, for me, who likes a lot of different music, I'm going to have a lot of fun at Kendal. I can go see an old school favourite like Kaiser Chiefs, and then I can go on a night, have fun seeing Fatboy Slim. And then through the day, there's even lots of good smaller acts. We didn't mention the Last Dinner Party, who have massively blown up this year. But then you've got Sophie Ellis-Bextor, the K's, Maximo Park, the Pigeon Detectives, the Royston Club, Big Moon, Alfie Templeman, Pixie Lott, who I feel like, I don't know where that came from. But
yeah, I didn't even know she was still around. But Pixie Lott and Sophie Ellis-Bextor are both in that realm of like legend status, where there's one or two songs that you'd absolutely kill to see them perform live. But then there's other like more electronic acts. We've got Dub Pistols there, which I did not expect to see. And then Mr. Scruff, who interestingly had a song that was baked into all Windows 7 installations called like Karimba or Kalimba or something. And I know that track inside and out because it was the only one that would play when I opened up Windows Media Player. But overall, this lineup is phenomenal.
It is. And we went to Kendal last year, and the vibes at the festival were truly immaculate. Throughout the whole weekend, there was pretty much no litter. The facilities were all spot on. So many food options out in the middle of the Lake District. And I just think that this is a incredible lineup.
I genuinely think Kendal Calling might be one of my favorite festival experiences, with just how calm everything is. Everybody's so nice there. Everybody's so friendly. And then adding this lineup into the mix, like I was saying, there's some acts here I never expected to see there. So to have those vibes of that festival with some of these acts, it's going to be phenomenal, man. I'm so excited.
It is. Shall we move on to a festival very local to us, just a one-day indie festival, which is Live at Leeds in the Park. Ooh. This has been going for a few years now, and I've been to this a fair few times. And to be honest, I think that this lineup is crap. I think it's rubbish.
Really?
Yeah, this is so poor for me. Block Party, 20 years of Silent Alarm, incredible.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Top tier headliner, can't wait for that. The rest of the lineup for me is really, really poor. The only other people on there that I would go out of my way to see is The Amazons and We Are Scientists.
Yard Act are pretty good.
They're okay.
I do like Yard Act.
They're very like experimental rock, which fair enough, they're a big name and a lot of people will like them. But for me, in past years at Live at Leeds, I've seen so many top tier acts, and I don't think that this quite has the pulling power for pure indie rock music, which is what this festival is built on.
They've got Psychedelic Porn Crumpets there as well, which is my favourite band name going, I think. They're fantastic. But then you've also got some tribute acts there, which is Fleetwood Mac, which I'm going to guess is a Fleetwood Mac tribute act. But
imagine if it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just completely unrelated. But what a weird get for the lineup. That's like, I don't know, I feel like you'd have some bigger acts put on there if you're going to announce more. So is this the final announcement? Is this everybody that's going to be there?
No, they're going to add a lot more people. And to be fair, this is subject to change. And there's a lot of acts on there that are definitely capable of pulling in a big crowd. And for the price of Live at Leeds, I think it sits at about 60, 70 quid. Do you know, it's not that bad, but I'm saying for me personally, I think the other year's lineups have been way stronger than this year.
There's a couple of other things on there which I quite like, which was the Comedy Tent, which is going to be headlined by Maisie Adams, who I'm a big fan of. I think she's great. And also, I've just noticed on the Two Legs Public House, we've got Barrioke with Barry from EastEnders, who I think was at Kendal last year. He's just having a hell of a time, and he's just going around doing a bit of karaoke, sorted.
Yeah, just a couple of beers at a festival doing his karaoke gig, and he has got it locked off. You know he's loving life right now. But I'll wait to judge the full Live at Leeds lineup once that's out. But for now, I think it's pretty weak.
Yeah, compared to previous years, I don't think it's the greatest that we've seen. There's definitely more acts to come, which could change up our perception of it, but there would have to be some phenomenal sub-headliners coming in to make it worthwhile for me, I reckon.
Shall we go on to one of the biggest festivals in mainland Europe, and that is Rock am Ring.
What a lineup they've got this year. So on the Friday, we've got Bring Me the Horizon, we've got The Prodigy, and we've got KIZ, which I imagine is some European band. I'm not really familiar with them. But then we've also got acts underneath them, like A Day to Remember and Biffy Clyro, and that's just on the Friday.
Them two that are underneath the headliners could be headliners.
Exactly.
At the majority of UK festivals, A Day to Remember and Biffy Clyro would be top of the bill. And I think that's the difference between a lot of UK and European festivals. At these European ones, they just have headliners and huge household names stacked throughout the entire lineup.
Yeah, moving on to the Saturday, we've got Slipknot, Rise Against, and an unconfirmed act yet. But then underneath them, we've got bands like In Flames and Spirit Box. And unfortunately for Spirit Box playing Leeds this year even, it wasn't the greatest performance because the crowd was so dead. It wasn't the right vibe. But this festival, I think they'll absolutely pop off because they'll be perfectly in their element.
Yeah, I think for anyone that really likes the heavier side of rock music, Rock am Ring, if you're based in Europe, should be one that you consider, because from what I've seen, obviously the festival's been going for over a decade. It's well put together and you're just going to get the exact type of music that you want all day. We'll move on to the last day where the two headliners are Falling in Reverse and Sleep Token. I weren't sure that Sleep Token are big enough to be headlining a festival like this.
So Sleep Token released an album, I think it was a couple of years ago, and on the run up to that, they absolutely exploded. It's mainly based around their image more than their music, in my opinion. The music is it appeals to a wide range of people, but their image kind of pulls people in. So to see them headlining festivals, there's a few other ones in Europe that they're headlining as well. It makes sense to me, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them on Download's lineup. But underneath them, we've got people like Lorna Shore, Idols, Fit for an Autopsy. There's a lot of star-studded acts that are tucked away in there, and I think Rock am Ring has the potential to be one of the best alternative festivals next year.
I do love these heavy festivals because for me, who's not a fan of a lot of the smaller, heavier acts, if you just look through and read some of the names of these bands, it is always quite entertaining. Like straight away, you've got Terror, The Ghost Inside, who I have actually heard of. Which other ones are funny on here? I bet there's some. Smash Into Pieces. Yeah. Just proper random. Is there any others?
Was Fit for an Autopsy one of them when I said that?
Yeah, that's what made me think this. Yeah. And then straight away I looked down and saw Terror and thought, damn, who's coming up with these? I mean, obviously it fits the kind of vibe of what music they're putting out, but
the Sunday for me is great because you've got Whitechapel in there and Polaris, and there's a bunch of other bands, and even the smaller acts on this lineup are phenomenal. But overall, fucking great lineup. We're being treated next year. Next year could be a very, very good year for festivals.
Yeah, I really hope it is. I think some of them kind of drop behind a level this year. Next year, we could see some insane acts. And if you want to stay up to date on all these festivals, make sure you hit like on this video and subscribe to the channel because we react to a lot of the big festival lineups.
We do festival lineups, we do album reviews, we review the worst albums of the best artists. We do all sorts here. So just stick around, subscribe, give us a like, give us your love. Easy peasy. Thank you very much for watching.